Welcome back, fellow maidens. Today we are doing tier list video. We are doing Elden Ring major bosses plus DLC bosses. So we are going to be rating the bosses from Elden Ring. So we have finished Elden Ring, we finished the DLC, so it's only natural we do a tier list video. So let's do this today and let's rate some of our favorite bosses. I'm also pretty tired, so this is gonna be pretty chill. Okay, who do we have first? I don't actually know the name of that one. But it's like the... Forgive me. That is the astral thing. So that is the astral reindeer boss. Because he is from that really cool area, Nokron and Nokstella area, and also you have to light all the furnaces, which some people find probably annoying, but I find it fun that you have to light all those things up. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but it's something lore reasons, so I think it's kind of cool. So I think we're going to put him in the A tier. He's a cool boss. Estelle, the Void Star, or the Void. He is a bit of a letdown boss, I think. I feel like he has such a build-up that he looks like such a cool boss. And he looks cool, and then when you look closer, he doesn't look as cool. And he's not my favorite boss. He's just like kind of mid. He's not the worst, but he's really not that great. So I think I'm gonna put him in D tier. Next up we have, is that Beal? Is that my Beal? Okay. If that's Beal, which I believe it is, then he is S tier. All the way. All the way, even though we fought him quite well. I think we're just overpowered by that point in the DLC, so therefore he's S tier. He has some awesome lore. He looks insanely cool, and he just has a really cool arena as well, and he has a really cool fighting style. Fire, he's a dragon, which some people may not love in Elden Ring, but I don't mind it. But yeah, he is one of the coolest bosses. So, and he gets a really cool NPC that you can summon in his fight, which makes it really cool. It's like another layer of just something different, something cool, and I love it. Next up we have, what's his name, Gaius? I hate this guy. He sucked ass. He was on a board. It was a nice little nod to like Dark Souls 1, but I hated this guy. He was kind of tough, and he hit pretty hard. He did have some cool gravity magic, so therefore I think we'll give him a C. Another commander I hate, Commander Neil. This guy also sucks. So you fight him twice. You can fight him in the Lake of Rot, in Caelid, or you can, and you also have to fight him if you want to get to the Healing Tree. You can also fight him in the Consecrated Snowfield. So yeah, he's not a fun fight. And because he also summons during the fight, which you can use I think it's like a twig. It's not a twig, it's something you can use, that if you use it when the summons come towards you, it means those summons turn and actually end up fighting him with you, which is cool. But I still don't like him. I think he just goes in the C tier. He's not bad, he's just annoying. He's not a letdown like Estelle, so therefore he's C tier. Who's this? Is that the Death Knight? I mean, he's cool. I think he just goes C tier. He's not like terrible. He does have some pretty cool drops though. I would put him in B tier, but because these guys, like, these aren't bad bosses, I just don't like them. I feel like, you know, they're cooler design than this guy, so therefore I think they just all land in the one tier. Oh, my favorite. Next up we have the Dancing Lion. Yeah, he's an awesome boss. He's one of my favorites. One of mine, not the top favorite, but he's one of my favorites from the DLC. I think he's an S tier, not S plus, because he doesn't do anything like insanely cool. I love the lore, and he does like frost magic, he does, you know, electric damage or shock, whatever it's called. And yeah, he's just a cool boss, so therefore he's an S tier. Oh, this is a Dragonkin dude. He's okay. I mean, you just kind of like whack his ass and his feet and stuff. He's cool design. Yeah, I don't know, like... Okay, we put Estelle in the F tier. Because he's just kind of like a bad boss. Dragonkin, I think, goes here because he's just not that good. And there's nothing like really standoutish apart from his really cool design. He's not like a bad boss. He just like, he doesn't deserve to be as high as these guys, I don't think. And now that I look at it, why is he in the A tier? I think we'll put him down to B. And then, oh, okay, let's have a look here. We have Placidusax, one of the most coolest bosses in the original game, not in the DLC. In the base game, he was so cool. Again, lore rich, and he is in Farm Azula, which is one of the coolest areas in the Lands Between. Well, it's not really in the Lands Between, but you know what I mean. It's just so cool. He's an awesome boss. He also deserves the S plus tier. I mean, come on. Epic Dragon. Okay, next up we have the Elden Beast. Now, this is another boss who's just a mega letdown. And he's also the final boss, which I just think for final boss, he wasn't really it. I feel like he's more of like a side boss. Like, he's oversized. He's a ginormous arena. He is hard to get to and hard to hit, so therefore he's just not my favorite. He's a letdown. He's a big letdown. He deserves to be an F tier with Estelle. Okay, who's next? Briar guy. I can't remember his name exactly. He is pretty cool, actually. He is a pretty cool boss. I don't think he's a major boss. He's a mini boss. Kind of. No, he's a major boss, I suppose. He's just in the Shaded Castle, I believe. Is he? He's in the Shaded Castle, I think. And he's awesome. You get some cool drops for him as well. I think he goes in the... Dare I say A tier? Dare I say A tier? I think we'll put him in the A tier. He's cool. He has the whole Briar thing going on. Maybe he deserves to be in the B tier. We will see as time goes on. And now that I think about it, he's the B tier. Because I'm looking at Godfrey, and like he's probably A tier, so yeah, we'll stick to B tier for him. So then I think he goes down to D tier. The only thing going for this guy here is the fact that you have to light up those things to get to him. But now looking at it, that's not enough, I don't think. Next up we have the Fire Giant. And I hate this guy. He's not a letdown. He is annoying though. But he's a very cool boss. He's a very cool boss. So I think then this guy goes here. And I think bosses who are annoying but who are very cool. Well, Commander Neil isn't very cool, but cool bosses but are annoying to fight go into the C tier. They deserve some status, but they don't get up high enough because they are a pain in the ass. But they're very cool bosses, so therefore they deserve some recognition. Next up is Godfrey's, like, I don't know, it's like his spirit or something or whatever. What was the point in this boss? I get it, but also it's just like a waste of time. So I think that just goes in F tier. Ooh, next up we have the Godskin Duo. I mean, if you If you cheat, well, if you use these sleeping pots in this battle, you can do it fairly easily. Um, I actually prefer this fight compared to the singular fights. Um, do I? I don't know now actually. I love the Godskin duos. They are annoying to fight, but I do love them. So therefore I think they go there. He goes here because he has a really cool arena in that like blood church. And also they have really cool design. They have cool like lore. They also have cool movements. I don't hate them as much as these guys, so therefore, to me, they belong in B tier. I know a lot of people hate the Godskins, but I like them. I think they're awesome. This hippo, though, this guy, I did not like him. But I feel like D tier is too low. I feel like B tier is too high. We might need to move some things around. I don't know. Where does Hippo go? I don't know where he goes. I didn't like him. He was difficult, but he's cool though. I like the fact he's a second phase and he changes. So maybe he just goes in the C tier. Yeah, C tier. Well, maybe D. Next up we have Godfrey. This is when he goes into his like feral mode without Horolu on his back. Which, that's just such a cool fight. So I think that goes A tier for sure. Next up we have Lita. I mean, she's okay. I think that just goes D. This guy, I can't remember his name. Misbegotten Warrior? Misbegotten something. He is fine. Not really memorable. I honestly wouldn't have remembered about him if I tried to. Where on the tier list though does he go? He doesn't go in C. I think he doesn't go in D. I think he just goes in F. He's just not very memorable. You know? I understand why he's there for lore reasons, but like, I don't know. I just don't really care for him. Next up we have, is that Lanisax? Maybe? She's awesome. She's A tier for sure. Any of those kind of dragons I love. I hate like the magma worms. They're like so annoying. There's so much fire and then lava pools that they do, and I'm just like, it's just so frustrating. So dragons I love. Worms I hate. So who do we have next? Who is that? I think that is, oh, the girl we fight in the Caria Manor. Loretta? Is that Loretta? I think that's Loretta. She's fine. Nothing special about her. Does she match up with those ones? Yeah, I'd say so. Magma Worm, you know it, F tier. Being of my existence. Okay, let's just take a moment of silence for one of the most coolest bosses in Elden Ring. Mikola. Not Mikola? Damn it. Malekith. Look, they all have names beginning with M. Sorry if I get one mixed up. It's a little confusing. But we have Malekith. He is one of the coolest bosses. Although when I was watching a playthrough of Demon Souls the other day, it's amazing how Miyazaki transforms bosses from his older games into his newer games, because there was a boss in that and it looked just like Malekith, and I'm like, damn. You know, there's obviously some differences, but there's very heavily similarities. But everything in Elden Ring is unique to itself, even if it is inspired by some of Miyazaki's earlier bosses. But Malekith has some really rich lore. He has awesome design, moveset, blade, armor set. He also is the beast clergyman and then transforms. So any boss that has a moment of transformation during their battle, I think is super awesome. So therefore, and also I love a cutscene during a fight. So therefore, he is in the S+ tier. Oh, okay, here we go. We have Margot next. I love Margot. I think he is definitely one of the underrated bosses in Elden Ring. The fact that, you know, you see Margot at the very beginning, one of the first bosses you fight, I think, unless you fight the guy on the horse in this at the start of Limgrave, but Margot is one of the official first bosses you fight. He's with you throughout the game. You know, you see him a few times throughout in the fields, and then you have to fight him once out there for some reason. And then you also fight him in the city of Leyndell. He has an awesome, awesome fight, and he has beautiful cutscenes. I love his like little like shawl, like cape he has. The fact that he has a staff that turned into this insane alloyed blade or whatever it's called. It's a really cool blade. He's got horns. He's a really sad backstory. He is and deserves to be very top of the S plus tier for sure. And then we have, of course, one of my other favourite bosses of the DLC. We have Mesmer. Now Mesmer was one of the bosses that really, really grasped me with the DLC. The trailers, everything about him, his cutscenes are actually insane. I could watch them forever, they're so cool. Great design, great lore, answers a lot of our questions, I suppose, with lore for the base game. He's a sad backstory. He has a romance with Rolana, which is like nice. He's just so cool, and damn, he's one of my favourite bosses, so he is S+. And he was a really hard fight as well. He was so hard. I honestly was worried we weren't going to defeat him for a minute, but we did, and he's awesome. Next up we have the Mother of Fingers. I can't remember her name exactly. But she was another really cool boss, and she was unexpected, which was awesome. Kind of annoying moveset. She did remind me of... what's the one from Bloodborne called? Is it Romna? The bug kind of one. Really sad backstory. She reminded me of her a little bit, so I had like some compassion for her during her fight. And I just thought she was a beautiful boss. In terms of her lore and her story, I really felt for her, and just everything that happened. It was just it's really sad, her lore, and therefore, because of her lore, not basing her on her moveset, which was kind of annoying, but based on her looks and her lore, I'm giving her a high rating because I love her. I really feel for her, so therefore I think she gets I don't want to give her A tier because of her fight isn't good. If her fight was good, actually, hold on, because it's really cool leading up to her fight. Like, you have to ring the 2 bells, although that's kind of tedious. It's still cool and lore rich again, I suppose. I want to give her A just because I love her so much, but her fight is what lets her down. It's an annoying fight, and in terms of like Soul series, it's not a good fight, just because of her moveset just kind of being annoying and like stuff. But I want to give her higher than that, B, but she doesn't really fit up here with these guys. Or does she? What does Lansax do? She's a pretty annoying boss as well. I don't know. What do you guys think? No, because I know you guys probably even like this boss, so therefore I'm not going to ask your opinion. Because I think she deserves to be higher than the B, but she's not up here, so I don't know what to do. You know what, we're giving her this for her lore reasons. She deserves recognition. She deserves some love. So therefore we're putting her in the A tier simply because she's beautiful. And she does need some fighting lessons, but because of her lore and backstory, she gets an A. So don't fight me on it. Next up we have Midra. Okay, Midra is another really unexpected boss in the DLC. He's awesome. He has 2 phases. more or less. He has a really cool location, Midra's Rise. Is it Midra's Rise? I think so. He's just so cool. He has epic cutscenes. There was some really cool, you know, trailer stuff for him as well, like sneak peeks. So he is one of the coolest bosses. I wouldn't say he's S plus, but he's definitely in the S tier. Next up, we have the Mimic tier, and because the Mimic tier is us, it deserves S plus. I'm kidding. It can go in the C tier because Mimic tiers are annoying. So, Moog, again, someone with another tragic backstory in the realm of Elden Ring. He's got some insanely cool drip. I mean, look at his robes. I would die to have those robes. He's Lord of Blood. That's pretty edgy. He has a big staff or trident. That's sick. I mean, that's pretty cool. And he also was so misunderstood in the whole Elden Ring arc or story. Everyone thought he was a monster. And it turns out the monster was us. No, it wasn't us. It was actually Mikola. But anyway, it was really sad what happened to him and his lore and stuff. If you're interested, you should look it up. It's really, really devastating and interesting. I think he deserves to be in the... He's better than these guys, so therefore he gets S. Because of his fighting. His fight is actually pretty good. He does cheat with the whole blood magic stuff, but I think he gets an S. Okay, moment of truth. What do we actually think of the promised consort Radahn? I bloody hated him. I hated him so much. He made me respec, not once, not twice, 3 or 4 times I had to respec for this guy, and I ended up really using a shitty build where it was basically a shield, and I've never ever been one to use a shield in any Souls games, or any game for that matter, because I think shields are a waste of space, and I had to end up using a shield for his fight. I had to use a cheese strat, and it worked thankfully, or I wouldn't have finished the game, but yeah, it was a tough battle. He's an awesome boss, obviously, but he's a pain in the bloody ass, so therefore I think he will go well, I want to put him in the F tier because he is kind of a letdown for the final boss of the entire DLC Elden Ring finale. He's the final boss. And I feel like the end was kind of a letdown. There was no final cutscene really. There was the one with Mikola, I suppose, but there was no final big cutscene, no grandeur. He did have a second phase, but actually I think his first phase was probably better. But he was a letdown, in all honesty. He was a letdown. And therefore I think he gets F. He's cool. He has some wicked moves, which I didn't like. But he's a letdown in terms of all these bosses. He was a letdown. Even his arena was kind of shit. It was cool, but again, it's a final arena. It did have these really cool, like, columns at the back, with the big door or whatever it was, but it was lacking a little bit. Then again, for a final boss in an epic game, it's going to be really hard to live up to the expectation of what people want. But, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, next up we have... What's this guy's name again? I can't remember his name. He was fine. Didn't love him, didn't hate him. He's a cool boss. But... Pearlescent Knight, that's it. But yeah. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Next up we have Radagon. Marika. Radagon is Marika. And this fight was it's kind of another letdown, to be honest. I would have liked to have seen some of Marika in this fight, but we did not. We only seen Radagon, and he was using obviously the hammer, Marika's hammer, because he is Marika. And I feel like they really stripped this fight back. I feel like they could have done so much with it, so much big flashy things, but they didn't. They really stripped his fight back, and I respect that. So therefore I think we'll give him an A tier. And I mostly do that because of who it is. It's Marika. Marika, who we have learned has also had a tragic backstory. We learned that through the DLC. And because of everything she went through, it was really tragic, it was sad. So I have compassion for Marika. And so therefore I think she deserves, her and Radagon deserve to be an A tier. Next up we have Radagon as the wolf, or his red wolf. I hate this thing, to be honest. I really dislike anytime he shows up. He does that quick swift jump thing that is really annoying. So therefore I'm just going to put him here. Well, maybe here, because it's just a big wolf. He's not as cool as like the fire giant and stuff. And therefore I think I'm also going to put him there. And the mimic. Because these bosses are not as cool as these. These have really cool design. Mostly the fire giant. But he's there because I really didn't like the fight with him. We have another one of those astral deer things. Oh, next up we have Rulana. Rulana is beautiful. I love her. Really cool fight with the magic and fire swords. She has a whole love story with Mesmer. Understandable. I totally get that. So therefore, I think she goes in the A tier. Yeah, A tier. She's not an S. Even though she has a really cool moveset, she's not an S. She's really cool. I love her. Next up we have Renala. Yeah, Renala. The Moon Queen or whatever she's called. Okay, so she's so funny. Renala is so funny. She kind of hides behind these gimmicks. She uses, in the first part of her fight, she uses her little students to throw books at us. What's the deal? Cool looking arena. I love the fact it's in a library. That's beautiful. And then the second phase, you kind of are taken into her mirage or her illusion. And again, she just uses magic. She summons things. It's very frustrating for some, I suppose. It's a bit of a letdown. I mean, I don't expect her to whip out a big sword, but like, she could have done something a little different and not summon things, but I suppose that's just what magic players do. I'm not a magic player, but for that reason, I think she goes in the B tier. She's not bad, she's not great. Maybe C tier. Yeah, C tier. Next up we have, is it Romina? The Bud Saint, or the Saint of Bud or something. She's awesome. She's such a cool, unexpected boss. Again, I love it when they do the unexpected bosses in Elden Ring. It's so cool, it's so fun. And it's like this moment where you're like, oh shit, yeah, I'm playing Elden Ring. I'm playing a FromSoft game. Souls-like game. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But she's awesome. I love the pink. I love her connection to Rot and Scarlet Rot. I love the whole thing with the butterflies, the pink butterflies. They're absolutely beautiful. She's quite an easy boss. She does have a beautiful arena. She has some interesting moves, but I like it. I love her a lot. So therefore, I think she goes in. I think she goes in S tier. I don't really think she deserves to be with Midra. Okay, we're doing it. We're moving some down here. We're moving some down. And we're moving them back up. I don't feel like these fights are any less. You know, they're both like mid fights. They're mid, but they have beautiful aspects or else beautiful lore. So therefore, that's why they go there. Next up, we have, I think that is Loretta again. That might be the one in the Helix tree. She was pretty easy to be fair. By that stage, we were quite high leveled when I fought her. Yeah, I mean, just another girl on a horse. Next up, we have the Scad Tree Avatar. Again, another very unexpected boss. Very cool. Did not expect it to have three or four like versions of itself that got more fast and annoying, but it did, and it was very cool, and therefore I think it deserves S tier. I know a lot of people probably didn't like the Scattered Tree Avatar, and they're within their own right to think that. I thought it had a cool arena. I thought it was a cool idea. I don't actually really know the lore behind the Scattered Tree Avatar, other than it's like the sunflowers, and that's like a big deal in the Elden Ring universe. But yeah, cool fight, cool look. Well, fight was kind of annoying, but it was still cool, and I liked the fact it had like 4 or 5 phases. Not something I loved, but it was different, and that's what I respect. So yeah. Yeah, S tier. S tier. That seems quite insane, but I'm giving it S tier. Who's this? Is this Godric? Wait, is this Godric or is this Godfrey? Godric. Godfrey. No, this is Godric. I hate his fight, to be honest, but it's a good fight. He's very good moveset. He has the second phase with the dragon arm. He's very cool. Very small arena though, very slim arena in the castle. Or in the keep, whatever you want to call it. Where do we put him though? I think we move Renala down to the F tier. And we put him in here. No, we put him in B. And we can move her. No, because if we're putting Radan, Promised Consort in the F tier, I think it's okay to put her in the F tier. Because she's like not even as good as him, so. Next up we have one of my favorite bosses. She's hard, but I respect her with the utmost respect. We have Millennia. Millennia? Yeah. Big fan of Millennia. Love her design. Second phase is a big hitter. She's so cool, epic. She has a cool nickname. Respect. She has cool apparel, cool clothing. I love her helmet. I love the fact she's a freaking warrior, people. Hello, that's awesome. She's a big inspiration. Love her. She's S+, all the way. I don't know why we have Moog again. It's not like he has I think that's the second phase, although I don't know why. The second phase should just count as his things. We're just gonna pretend that doesn't exist and put him in the S tier again. I think we just have... Who is that, actually? Oh, it's just Moog again. No, not Moog, it's Margot. And then we have Radahn. I actually much prefer the original Radahn to the... Well, in the DLC, Radahn's first phase is fine. Love it. He's a proper, like, you know, headstrong warrior. That's fine. It's cool. Second phase, though, hated it. His original battle in the base game, yeah, it's awesome. Big arena. He has his horse with him. He does a whole gravity magic. and the whole thing where he like comes down as a meteor again in his like second phase. I hated the fight. It was really hard, but I have respect for that fight. So therefore I think I'm gonna put it in the A tier. Well, maybe B tier. No. A tier. A tier is definitely the tier for the bosses I respect and love the lore of, because I don't necessarily love a lot of their fights, but I have a lot of respect for them. Next up we have Rykard. Okay, Rykard he's a pretty awesome boss. Lore reasons, he's insanely sick and cool. His design is insanely sick and cool, people. He has a sword of blasphemy. I mean, he's very cool. I think he has to go in the S tier. I can't put him in S plus because he's not like my favorite boss, but he is very cool, I will admit, so he's definitely S tier. And then we have, for some strange reason, those golem things, or whatever they're called. I hate those guys, so it's just going to be a straight up F. So there we have it. Elden Ring, major boss plus DLC bosses tier list. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you think I am totally right? Which I probably am. No, I don't know. This is just where I put them. I love Elden Ring. I love Souls games. I have so much respect for Miyazaki and the team of designers that work so heavily on these games. I would love to see the studio someday where they have all the cool figures and stuff there. That would be sick. But this is where I rate the Elden Ring bosses. I love every boss, let's just say that. Some of them I don't enjoy fighting, but I love all of the bosses. I think all of the designs are insanely creative and cool. The movesets, the lore, everything is so inspiring. And this is where I put them. Let's just have a closer look again at my favourite ones. Beal, Blasigisax, Malekith, Margot, Mesmer, and Millennia. Insanely awesome bosses. Again guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Am I crazy? Probably. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Farewell. Until our next tier list video, which we don't do a lot of anymore. But see ya.